Today we will be speaking with Green Bioactives, and I'm Tanya Puviraj-Singhi. We have the pleasure of being joined by Samuel Casasola Zamora, who is the co-founder and production lead at Green Bioactives. Samuel, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for the invitation, Tanya.
Samuel has a deep passion for plant sciences, which has led him to drive translational research into impactful real-life solutions, whilst also creating high-quality jobs for scientists along the way. Towards the end of his PhD, the late Professor Loke invited Samuel to join Green Bioactives. Since then, he and his team have been committed to scaling up their plant cell culture platform from research to commercial production. Samuel, can you begin by telling us a little bit about Green Bioactives and what led to its creation?
Plants produce a vast array of molecules which allow them to cope with stress. They do that all the time. And these type of molecules are routinely used by different industries. So they play a role in food and cosmetics and agriculture industries. But in many cases, it's difficult to access enough quantities of these molecules by the current extraction methods. So sometimes they're synthesized in low yields in the plants. So you need to use a lot of biomass to extract them from natural means. But also the molecules sometimes are very complex. So then doing them by chemical means is complicated and generate a lot of byproducts and contamination. And in many cases, the pathways that the plants produce these molecules are unique to the plants, and they are not known or characterized. So then producing them in another synthetic approaches using, for example, E. coli or yeast, it's very complicated. Therefore, Green Bioactives was founded as a way to use plant cells to produce these type of molecules to enable the food and cosmetic and agricultural industries, potentially pharma as well, with a sustainable and robust supply of natural molecules.
What drives your core mission or vision behind the technology you've developed?
In Green Bioactives, we want to improve people's lives by producing good quality and sustainable molecules. The company in 3 pillars, which are people, planet, and progress. And it's people because we want to improve the people's quality of life for longer. Planet, because we want to have a sustainable way to produce this type of molecules, and progress because we want to advance biomanufacturing and plant cell culture and take it to the next level.
How does your plant cell culture technology work, and what makes it stand out from traditional cultivation methods?
Well, we use plant stem cells as a production platform for this type of molecules. Let me give you an example. Let's think of a bioactive product that is typically extracted from the bark of trees. So in order to access these biochemical compounds, first you need to grow the trees, which will take several years to grow. And then you need to cut them down, and you need to remove the bark and mill it into a fine powder, and then you need to extract the bioactive chemical from the powder, which in some cases could be steam extraction or some other resource-intensive extractions, which generate side products. In the case of steam, you have wastewater that you then need to treat for that. And after you have a concentrated bioactive compound, you need to transport it from whatever these trees are growing to wherever they are needed. So all this process is really energy intensive and generate a lot of CO2 and carbon footprint. In our case, we isolate cells in the lab from these plants that know how to do those ingredients, and we can produce them next to where they are needed or in closer to that procedure. And we have shown that our biomanufacturing process produces less CO2 emissions compared to the energy intensive extraction harvest.
Can you walk us through the process of producing plant cells in the lab?
We leverage a lot on the expertise of plants to produce these molecules. So normally, we want to produce a bioactive that grows in the bark of the tree. We would go to the tree that knows how to produce these molecules. We take a part of that tree, could be the roots or the stems or the leaves, that have already all the ingredients and all the tools necessary to produce these molecules. We take that part of the tree to the lab. We place it on solid media that has on a Petri plate. This media has all the ingredients for the cells to thrive and start growing. And so use some hormones that promotes growth and division in the cell line that we're expected. We can then select those lines for faster growth and higher yields of the molecule that we're interested and scale them up. We move them from solid media to a suspension culture, which we can grow in flasks, and then we move them into bioreactors so we can increase the production of cells.
Yes, scalability is a crucial factor to consider. How do you address this in your production process?
Scalability, it's crucial, but it's very challenging in all the technological based companies. Our approach focuses on developing robust and reproducible bioprocesses so we can ensure good upscaling through all the stages. One of the major challenges that we have with our cells is that plant cells tend to group together and they're very sensitive to shear stress. Therefore, growing them in traditional bioreactors, it's very challenging. If you use a standard stirrer impeller that is used to grow microbes, it would affect the growth of plant cells. Therefore, in the early days of our scale-up journey, we started testing many different bioreactor configurations, different ways to stir the cells or oxygenate the culture. We tried stir reactors, wave reactors, and airlit bioreactors. Through this extensive testing, we came to try the CellMaker bioreactor, which after several rounds of growing our cells in this 8-liter configuration, we observed consistent growths and similar growths and growth rates to what we see in shake flasks.
I see. So the bioreactors from Celexis have actually helped you produce better yields.
Scaling a biomanufacturing process, as I mentioned, it's difficult and it's a very resource intensive procedure. And to optimize our approach, we adopted a scale out strategy, which consists in using multiple 50-liter bioreactors rather than jumping straight away into a large scale bioreactor. And this method offers several advantages, including a greater process control, because by working or managing multiple small batches, we can have more flexibility and we can ensure consistency. Also, this would reduce capital expenditure. The scaling out minimizes the upfront investment. The cost and investment increases drastically, which going from 50 liters to thousands or hundreds of thousands of liters. Also, the single-use option allows shorter downtime. This means that we can finish one batch of production. We empty the bioreactor, take the bag, and place a fresh bag so we can start straight away. Also, Celexis, by being a Scottish company and we're located very close to each other, whenever we need support, we receive it in a very timely manner.
Which industries benefit the most from your biomanufacturing platform? And what do you think is the reason behind this?
Plant cell culture technology has application across several industries, but in the near term, we're focusing on the personal care and cosmetic and nutraceutical industries. A driver for this is that more and more clients are looking for plant-based solutions. They want to move into natural products rather than chemical synthesis. And our biomanufacturing platform allows to produce natural products in a sustainable way, which it's a requirement for these companies.
If people are interested in learning more about your services and about your work, how should they get in touch?
We collaborate with industry partners to develop innovative solutions, and we capitalize in our expertise in plant cell culture and the market experience of our customers so we can develop tailored solutions and tailor natural products aligned to their needs. And for more information, you can always visit our website. We are at greenbioactives.com, and also you can find us on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Samuel, for joining us today.